please put your hands together in welcoming back to the stage Her Excellency Dr. Amna bint Abdullah Al Dahak, along with the incredible youth representatives shaping the future of sustainability.
Good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to the Forbes Middle East Sustainability Leaders Summit 2025. My name is Nilf, and it's truly an honor to be here today and to extend a special welcome to Her Excellency Dr. Amna, Minister of Climate Change and Environment. Her leadership continues to inspire action for a more sustainable future. As young people, we are not just the leaders of tomorrow. We are active participants in building solutions today. Whether through ideas, actions, or simply by raising our voices, each one of us has the power to make a difference. This summit is a special place for us to imagine boldly, changing norms, and turn our future into a greener reality. Now, it's time for our interactive Q&A. I'm going to start by saying, what are some important projects making the UAE more sustainable?
First, allow me to say that I feel privileged to be sitting among our young leaders, young minds, and talk about this very important topic that touches your lives probably more than it touches our lives. And it's our responsibility to translate all the projects and all the aspirations that we have for you into actions on the ground, so that, as Dr. Sheikh has also said, to provide, to give you this world in a better shape than we received it. And to make sure that we draw also a very bright picture for your future. Now, if we talk about what projects we do, there are so many projects, but I will choose the most comprehensive and bigger project or bigger umbrella for all of that. So the UAE was the first country in the region to announce that it has a net zero strategy and to achieve that strategy by 2050. And in order to achieve that strategy, we need to make sure that everyone understands what's a net zero. So if we're going to put a net zero in simple terms, how much emissions are going into the atmosphere and how much emissions are we absorbing from the atmosphere? If this minus this is zero, then that is a net zero. But maybe we should not target a net zero. Maybe we can target even a net positive. How can we make sure that we are absorbing from the atmosphere more than is emitted into it? And the very strong example for that is looking into nature. What are the solutions that we have in nature that will allow us to implement this strategy without having to design other technologies other than the existing technology or existing solutions, if we can call them technologies, in nature? Mangroves, for example, absorbs, as has been said, 4 to 5 times more than rainforest. And the UAE is blessed with that. And we can look at other nature-based solutions like the seagrass, the other plants that will contribute into absorbing the emissions from the atmosphere. And with that strategy, we need to make sure that we're also implementing or evaluating our strategy as we go forward. This strategy is 25 years ahead. By that time, I think some of you are going to be more than 30 years old, maybe more than 35 years old. So that strategy needs always course correction. We need to collect data, and we need to analyze whether we are on the right path or not. And to ensure that, I'm very proud to say that the ministry just yesterday have launched the national MRV system, monitoring, reporting, and verification system. In simple terms, this system is going to collect data about the emissions and analyze, are we on the right trajectory, or do we need more interventions? Do we need course correction? So this is the biggest umbrella. There are so many other things that we can talk about, but maybe we'll leave it as well for other questions.
So, Assalamu alaikum, Your Excellency, Dr. Amna. It's truly an honor to be speaking with you today. And to begin, since you've shown great commitment to sustainability and climate action, I'd like to ask you, what inspired the UAE to aim for net zero by 2050? What inspired the UAE to aim for net zero by 2050?
So the UAE has always been an aspirational nation. We aspire to create opportunities out of the challenges that we face on the ground. Her Highness have mentioned that we in the UAE have a very challenging environment. It's high temperature, it's arid environment, it's very challenging for agricultural projects, but the UAE have always aspired to create opportunities out of the challenges. And the UAE aspirations for net zero is not only for the UAE itself, but for the world. The UAE was the first country to announce its net zero by 2050 in the region. The UAE was the first country to ratify the Paris Agreement in the region. The UAE have led the world in COP28, and we have seen how the UAE vision have inspired the world to aspire for more, to put a language and agree on a language that was very hard to agree on through all the previous COPs, and to make that a reality during COP28 in the UAE throughout the commitments in the UAE consensus. That shows that the UAE has leadership in this space, and the UAE wants to do good, not only for the UAE, but for humanity around the globe. Because we believe that prosperity is what should unite humanity. All countries aspire to create a prosperous future for their nations. And nothing more can unite humanity more than creating a more prosperous future for our next generations.
Your Excellency, how is the UAE turning its climate goals into real action?
There's so many examples that we can bring into this answer, but let me focus on one very important aspect, which is in agriculture. How can we achieve sustainable action on the ground in agriculture in a very challenging environment, as we have mentioned? The UAE have implemented a lot of sustainable methodologies and models in agriculture to ensure that we're not depleting the natural resources, but we are resorting to innovations and technology, even in providing the food that we need in the country, the food we eat. We can look at different examples and projects. There is Aerofarm in Abu Dhabi, there is Bustanica in Dubai, and there are so many other examples of advanced agricultural projects that use minimal amount of water. And Her Highness have focused greatly on the importance of preserving water resources for our future. Those models for agriculture, hydroponics, and vertical farming, they can reduce the needs to 95% of the normal or conventional ways of agriculture, of water resources. Now, with those examples, we want to ensure that those technologies are not only with the big companies or with big firms, but we want also the small and medium-hold farmers, or even those who farms in their own houses. They understand the importance of adapting and adopting to more sustainably agricultural practices. For that, we've launched the program Plant the Emirates. Plant the Emirates is a nationwide program that was launched last year, and with that we established the National Agricultural Center, which works with those small and medium-holder farmers to build more sustainable future for agriculture in the UAE, and take as well the responsibility of increasing food production in the UAE on our lands with advanced and sustainable agriculture methods.
Your Excellency, how can young people like us take part in building a greener future?
Young people are the foundation for building a greener future. We cannot sustain any of the strategies that the UAE have worked on. We can name like the biodiversity national strategy, the food security national strategy, the water security national strategy, the energy national strategy. All of those are national strategies which we will not be able to translate into actions if we don't have young leaders like yourselves, very set on and focused on the goals that we want to achieve. If we, as governments, as private sector, as all organizations across the country, if we don't contribute to providing to you the opportunities, like this opportunity today to be part of this event, in order to contribute and to build your capacity and to build your knowledge and skills so that you are ready to contribute to achieving those visions. There are so many areas that the UAE have focused on to bringing young people and youth into it, like the youth hub that you have here, the youth hub that we've mentioned that was launched in UAE in the IUCN Congress. And we've had as well other platforms where we've included young voices in them, like we've launched last year in the National Agricultural Conference and Exhibition. We've launched the Youth Agricultural Council with the participation of 7 young men and 8 young ladies in this council. And that shows the commitments from all segments in society, and shows the commitments of the young leaders to contribute to every possible platform that is provided to them. But again, it's our responsibility, collective responsibility of government, private sector, educational entities, NGOs, to make sure that you're well provided those opportunities and you can build your capacity for the future.
Your Excellency, what makes you proud about the UAE's climate action journey? Your Excellency, what makes you proud about your UAE climate action journey?
There are so many things that we can be proud of. The UAE have become the heart for climate action around the world. And we've seen that repeatedly in so many of the platforms that the UAE have hosted. We go back even to Expo 2020, one of the main pillars was sustainability. COP28 was the biggest climate conversation, that it achieved the biggest achievements while it is in the UAE. The IUCN Congress, with all the conversations and discussions on biodiversity and nature conservation, is happening in the UAE at the moment. The UAE have become a global convening power. We said at the beginning that no one with the current global challenges can achieve anything alone. We need to make sure that there are collaborations, that people are talking the same language, that they can deliver to achieve action to address those global challenges. In the UAE, we've very much achieved that by becoming that global convening power, bringing everyone to the same table to discuss those challenges, and not only discuss challenges, but to translate our ambition to them and to make sure that that ambition becomes action.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for that beautiful question. How can collaboration between youth, government, and the private sector accelerate climate progress?
We say that it's everyone's responsibility to create opportunities for the youth. And there's tremendous opportunities in the private sector. And the UAE have always taken a philosophy and approach of making sure that it engages all stakeholders in every single conversation to make sure that we're really creating strategies that are going to implemented on the ground and not just going to be strategies that we talk about. In almost every strategy and every initiative that is designed in the UAE government, we make sure that we listen to the youth voices and we consult with them, and we also make sure that we listen to the private sector and we consult with them. And in that way only, listening to all your stakeholders, you can make sure that you are really designing something that is practical and pragmatic. And it will be translated into actions and into real implementation.
What advice will you give to young innovators who want to create real?
I think one of the natural characteristics of young people is to be curious about everything in the world, to question everything. And this is a characteristic and a trait that we want you to keep with you. You will only be able to learn if you maintain your curiosity. Stay curious about everything in the world. Stay curious about nature, about conservation, about sustainability. When you are curious about nature, you will learn everything about it. And we've just mentioned one example from nature, the mangrove system, the mangrove ecosystem that helps in providing so many abundance to nature and help us to achieve our climate goals. Now, this is one solution from nature. What if we are curious about everything in nature? There are so many things that we did not yet crack their codes in nature, and we have to stay curious about them, learn about them, and dive into it from a scientific perspective, looking at it from a critical point of view, and innovating through every sector that will allow us to achieve our sustainability targets.
Hello, my name is Abdul. Hello, my name is Abdul. My question is, how is the ministry like to be? How is the ministry like to be? How is the How is the ministry encouraging young people to pursue careers in sustainability and climate environment?
Thank you, Abda. It's a very important question, and it's very important to understand what are the career paths that young people like you can follow in order to work or achieve sustainability targets. I think it's every single career, every single academic path. Everything can contribute to sustainability. If you look at it from scientific perspective, science perspective, and you think about biology, or you think about biology if you want to go into conservation and nature. You might want to think about, or you might think about chemistry and chemical engineering if you're going into energy transition and waste management and circular economy. You might also consider IT in terms of computer engineering or computer science or AI, especially that the AI drives so many of the areas that we want to achieve, or it drives the solutions and it works as an enabler. So it's virtually every academic path can contribute to, or can allow you to contribute to achieve our sustainability targets. As long as you study something that you're passionate about, and you study something that you know that through it you can contribute into making this world better, then you're definitely going to achieve our sustainability targets. Allow me to thank on behalf of all of us, those young leaders, for all of those questions and opening this door for us to talk to them, to translate, and I hope that I translated our visions, our collective vision, our aspirations to them, and that it's your responsibility, every one of you, to take that back to your schools, back to your community, because that ripple effect is going to create the impact that we want on this generation to achieve, and to make sure that we deliver this world a better place for you and for your children and the next generations. Thank you.
Right, thank you all so much. And now we'd like to invite all of you to take a picture with Her Excellency.